Hi there. I'd like us to look at how to sew this cute three-piece or agbada without embroidery. Instead, we are using a three-dimensional slanted pentagonal prism with some beautiful trimmings. Very easy to do and beginner friendly. If this is something you'd love to do, please do stick and stay and let's do it together.
And so this fabric has been folded into two. Therefore, we have four layers. This is the corner. And then I have taken off 3 inches. That is for the neck width. And also 3/4 of an inch. That is the neck depth for the back. And then we have taken off our neck hole. So that's how come we see this cut here. Right. When you look at the measurement, we have a length of 41 inches by 29. This 41 means that we are having a total length of 39 with 2 inches hem allowance added to it. And so with the 39, it's 39 in front and 39 at the back. And when it comes to the width, we have 29 inches, meaning when we open it wide, we have 58 inches wide apart. And so this is it. After we've cut this, we'll open it up. And so after getting the back neck hole, we'll open it up so that we cut the front neck hole. And so I'll open it this way. So this becomes our center back and this is our center front. This will serve as our back neck hole and we're going to elongate this to get our front neck hole. I'm measuring 5 inches on the side and 6 inches in front here. Right, and so let's open this up and see. Right, so this is what we have. And so with the same shape we have here, I've used it to cut this interface we see here. We're going to use this and then we'll wrap another fabric all around this. This measures 1 inch on the side and this part we have 5 inches. And so it's just about 5 inches here and we have 4.5 inches at the back. We're going to stiffen our fabric with this. With this, we cut off about 1 inch away from the edges of our interface. For the slanted pentagonal prism, we'll first draw a rectangular line. What we want to do is to start from this very point all the way to where the back neck begins. And so we'll measure the length. From here, we get about 11.5 inches. And so we'll draw our rectangular shape with a width of 3 inches and a length of 11.5 inches. And so we first locate the midpoint for the 3 inches. And so we are getting 1.5 inch. Move downwards by 1 inch. We'll connect these 2 points to the point we just marked. This is our 5-sided figure, the pentagon. To get the prism, we first would have to elongate these various sides by about 1 inch. And so it should be 90 degrees to all the points we see here. That is the edges. We need 90 degrees at all the edges. And so we do this which is 90 degrees to this very line. We'll do the same for this, for that, for this, for that, and for the other one here, just as I'm doing. What we've done, we want 1 inch from each of them. But for these two sides, we are connecting from the 1 inch, and then it fits out as it gets to where our 11.5 mark ends. This is what is going to give us the slant. We'll go ahead and cut this. Just watch how we cut it. The allowance that we added in between our interface, we're going to fold the interface like this, and then we stitch off that allowance. And so the next one is, you'd also pinch this, and then you do the same thing. You go ahead and stitch. We are going to turn it to the good side. We will iron along the pentagonal shape that we have in between. We're going to iron this, and then we'll iron that, this, and the other one. We're going to iron it as such. Okay, so what you're doing next is to interface this onto the fabric itself. And so we're going to sew it on the wrong side, and then we'll flip it to the good side. We'll go ahead and run stitches along the neckline. So after stitching this, we'll flip this to the good side. To prevent the wrong side from coming to the good side, we will top stitch on this so that we're able to flip the whole thing under the one on top. We have fused this onto a 1 inch strip. This side is finished, the other side is unfinished. What you're going to do is that we'll stitch the unfinished side to this edge. And so we stitch this and we flip it to the good side so that we'll be able to top stitch this. And so we'll first go ahead and do that for this very side. We'll go ahead and stitch this on, and then we flip it. And so this is what we have. What I'll do is that I'll cut it not very close to the point here, but then I'll cut it a bit away from this edge so that we'll be able to stitch this two on. And so we're going to place this on the other side like this, and then we'll stitch it through all over the first one we had done. And so we're going to stitch this from here all the way to this side. Also, we'll leave excess on the edge here. Right, and so this is what we get. We're going to repeat the same process for this side, but then for the other side, we'll leave it unsewn. So now we're going to stitch this on. From this side, we'll also make sure that it exceeds the very first one. And then we'll stitch it through till we get to the base here. We're going to sew on. After this, we would also cut the back here and we'll repeat the same thing for this side. Now we're cutting off the excesses, the ones beneath. We'll cut them off. And then we'll fold this to get a crispy edge. We are going to place the unfinished edge under this very line because we had already finished this part. We'll slide this under as such, and then we'll go ahead and stitch. With the help of a glue gun, we are going to attach the trimmings on all the edges, as you see. With this done, we're going to take off 2-inch hem allowance from both sides. That is the left and the right sides of our dress. So we fold off the 2 inches hem allowance, which we had added to our agbada. And so we're going to fold the hem first, that is the base, before we fold the edges on both the left and the right side. So we're taking off our 2 inches from the base. We're going to our machine to stitch off our 2 inches for both the front and the back hem. After we have stitched our 2 inches hem allowance, this is the good side of our agbada. Right, so from this side, we are going to turn the whole thing to the wrong side. That is, we are putting two good sides together. Remember, we had folded 2 inches
from the left and the right side of our agbada. We did that before we even came to stitch the base or the hem of the dress. So right now, we'll go ahead and unpin those that we had folded. And then after we do that, we are going to stitch from the base upwards. This is about 15 inches. So we're going to mark that, and then we'll go ahead and stitch. So we have gone ahead to stitch our 15 inches from the base of our agbada. You see that we have our folds. That is the fold we had already done before we came to do the unpinning. So what you're doing right now would be to pin it back as we had folded earlier. And so we'll pin this very side. And then we're also going to pin the other side of the agbada. We're pinning the seam allowance which we had folded earlier. That's exactly what we are pinning back off. Right. So this is what you see. We'll stitch from this part. It goes all the way through to the top and it descends back down to the other hem. Right. And then we'll also go to the other side and then we'll repeat same.